Hey everybody, good afternoon. It's Erica with the Gallatin Valley Sentinel. Today I am sitting down with John Meyer, who is running for the mayor of Bozeman. We are about ready to complete all of our candidate interviews for the elections coming up in November. John, thank you so much for being here. I'll invite you to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you.
Hi, thanks for having me, Erica, and thanks for listening. My name is John Meyer. I'm running for mayor of Bozeman. I want to help make Bozeman one of the most sustainable towns on the planet. For me, sustainability means having adequate water for everyone here, having affordable housing. I think that if you work in Bozeman, you should be able to live in Bozeman. It means having good public transportation systems. It means really taking care of each other because it feels like these days the city has been taken hostage by developers. And so it's time to take Bozeman back. There's some really great things about Bozeman, and we want to develop on those things and not necessarily line the luxury developers' pockets. So I was born in Northwest Indiana. I'm the first kid in my family to graduate from college. My mother worked at a steel mill. She was the first female day laborer at Bethlehem Steel. So she cut slab steel with a torch for about 20 years. A couple years ago, I was invited to go to the University of California, Berkeley Law School and talk about some of my Clean Water Act litigation. I'm currently the lead attorney on a Clean Water Act case against Yellowstone Club for polluting the Gallatin River.
Wow. Wow.
And at the hotel I was staying at was a photo of the Golden Gate Bridge. And in front of the bridge is a sign that said, this bridge is made with steel from Bethlehem Steel. So it was an amazing full circle, gave me prickles on my neck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wow.
yeah.
That's amazing.
And so my father started pumping gas full service at a gas station and worked his way up the corporate ladder and retired 10 or 15 years ago. So uh, I was always taught that you work hard and then you make a living, and that's how it works. And these days it feels like even if you work hard in Bozeman, you can't pay your bills, you can't pay your rent, you can't pay your mortgage. It just feels like it's becoming harder and harder to live in Bozeman. So
Yeah.
uh, I have a unique blue collar experience that I want to apply that work ethic and make sure we're all taken care of.
That's amazing. So what would be, you kind of touched on them, of course, but let's just clarify, what would your top three priorities be if elected?
Yeah. So when I'm elected, we need to protect our water supply. We need to ensure we have affordable housing for people who work here. And the public transportation system can use some help. We should build a direct bus line from downtown Bozeman to the Bozeman airport. That seems like a no-brainer. If we're worried about climate change, we want to get cars off the road, just build a direct bus line. It'd save a lot of people money. It'd save a lot of carbon emissions. It seems like a really easy no-brainer, something we could do immediately.
I think that's a great idea. And what role do you believe the local government should play in the creation of affordable housing? You've brought that up as a main point. So, what would be your goals with respect to affordable housing?
Yeah. So again, I think that if you work in Bozeman, you should be able to live here. You shouldn't have to commute from Belgrade or Livingston or anywhere else. So that's really my main goal, is ensuring we have housing for people who work here. And how we go about doing that. I worked with several Bozeman residents for about a year, developing ballot language. And so for 90 days earlier this year, we collected a bunch of volunteers, collected signatures from Bozeman residents. And we got 15% of registered Bozeman voters' signatures to put this ballot initiative on the November election ballot.
Okay.
And so when this passes, it's going to require 1/3 of all new developments with 3 units or more to be affordable. And everyone says, well, what is affordable? And
Right.
again, uh, coming from working class family, I believe affordable should be truly affordable for people who work here. So we're targeting like there's a cap on rent and there's a cap on what new houses can be sold at. So those
Mhm.
caps, we're trying to make it so that a barista in town can live in Bozeman, so that a MSU professor can buy their first house in Bozeman. I mean, those are the people who we're really thinking about targeting when we drafted this language.
So how do you view the role of infill and the increased residential density in Bozeman's growth strategy, particularly with the rise in multi-unit apartment buildings? Do you think that this level of density is right for the city of Bozeman?
Well, sometimes I hear no is the short answer.
Okay.
I don't think that we should put 30-story skyscrapers in Bozeman.
Yeah.
We're hitting the neighborhood character when we do that.
Mhm.
Um, I do believe that density helps control some of the carbon emissions, absolutely. But I don't think that we should build a bunch of dense luxury apartments. And I see that all the time. That's what we
Mhm.
see going up is buy this luxury apartment or rent this luxury apartment. I was talking to a constituent this morning who said they're renting 3-bedroom apartments in Bozeman for $6,500.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, who can afford that? And then the joke is, well, how many months a year do you live in Bozeman? It's like, well, 12. I live here year round.
Right.
I'm a resident. I live here. I don't think that we should densify our building to supply demand for out-of-staters who want to spend 1 or 2 months here a year. It just
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
No, it's not sustainable at all or reasonable. Um, so the apartment construction, on that note, has outpaced the single family homes by nearly 4 to 1 since 2018. There are some leaders that are calling single family zoning a relic of the past. Do you believe that Bozeman should phase out single family homes? Yes or no, and why? Or if there's a middle answer.
I do think there's a middle answer. I live in affordable housing myself.
Okay.
And so if it wasn't for the Bridge Review development, I would not be in Bozeman. So I feel a deep obligation to give back to the town that has so freely given affordable housing to me. And so that's part of the impetus for getting this initiative on the ballot for me.
Okay.
And so in that Bridge Review development, there are detached single family homes. There's also condos. So it's a mix. I don't think that one size fits all. I don't think there's a yes or no answer.
Okay. So we'll talk about budget and economy a bit, big topic. How would you ensure the city's long-term fiscal health, particularly in funding infrastructure and services without overburdening the taxpayer?
Yeah. We are somewhat limited in our income streams. And I think that's because we don't have a sales tax in Montana. I
Mhm.
think the city sees new development as a way to bring money into the town. And that's a problem because we then become addicted to consumption and more building and more building. And so at some point, we have to slow down the development of luxury housing. And how do we then replace that income stream that we've lost? Um,
Sure.
I was just reading the paper a few weeks ago and I had to do a double and then a triple take because I think it was the Chamber of Commerce is suggesting we have a sales tax in the state, which I
Yeah.
was blown away. I think that we have lost a lot of opportunities by failing to tax non-residents for all sorts of things. Whether it's a second vacation house, whether it's your second house, there's all sorts of things that we should be able to tax. They're not necessary goods that we can make some money in for the city.
Mhm.
And so that's one potential way that I think that I would love to work with the Chamber of Commerce and bring some money into Bozeman in other ways that we haven't done traditionally.
Yeah, I get a lot of political surveys and I do them. And I've seen a couple coming through lately about sales tax and state tax. And I was kind of blown away too, thinking, oh my gosh. But here we are. So what do you think about the city funding the rights to counsel for tenants?
Um, that's fine. I think the city has somewhat developed that problem on its own by allowing rents to go sky high and by just continuing to develop and develop. Um, with the ballot initiative I just mentioned,
Mhm.
it controls the cost of rent. And so what I hear a lot of people in Bozeman saying is we got in at maybe $800, $900 a month per room, and now they're trying to jack it, double it, or whatever, and
Yeah.
they are feeling abandoned by the city, and like the city's not helping them. And the ballot initiative basically says you can't do that. You can't just jack the cost up on rent. And so I think that's a huge way to address that problem and
Mhm.
help to eliminate some of those rent control issues that we're seeing. That's my understanding. That's why people want right to councils, because they feel like they're getting taken to the cleaners by landlords. And there's probably some truth to that. We shouldn't be able to jack rent, double it, triple it overnight, essentially. It's not fair to
Right.
anyone. We all want a budget every month. And if you can't do that when you don't know what your rent's going to do.
Especially to the job market, the city has grown so much, especially in the last 4 or 5 years.
Mhm.
And it's not like a giant city where you can, what am I trying to say? That there's not an enormous job market. It's not a big giant metroplex where there's other places where you can commute and make a higher salary. So I see both sides, and it's a very interesting topic. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But my point is that your rent doubles, but your salary doesn't.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's a problem. And I
Yeah.
think we're kind of stuck in the middle there in this small town that's kind of growing so fast it's hard to keep up. So what do you think about the city's belonging in Bozeman DEI plan? Do you think that this initiative is necessary? And what do you think about the amount of taxpayer dollars that are being spent on this DEI belonging in Bozeman plan?
It's important that everyone who is in Bozeman feels like they do belong. I mean, that's what I love about Bozeman is it doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter what gender you are, it doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters. I mean, I love Bozeman because it's a free thinking town. People are more interested in your ideas. They don't care what you look like. I'm far more interested in people's ideas. And I feel like that's not always the case in other cities in Montana. And so I think Bozeman is really special in that regard. And I want to keep that. And so, to the extent that people don't feel comfortable, I think it's important that we provide them with some avenues to say, "Hey, I don't feel comfortable," and we address those. Um, so, yeah, that's
Okay.
what we got.
So let's talk about community engagement. Do you believe that the current mayor and the current city commission are representative of the majority of the constituents in town?
No, I do not. I feel like the current commission is somewhat tone deaf. Every week I go to commission meetings and people are saying no more luxury development, no more, no more, and they keep rubber stamping it. And they act like they can't do anything. They have to approve luxury development, and that's simply not true. And when we got this water adequacy and residential development ballot
Yep.
initiative up and running, the city had this big brouhaha where they brought in the economic development team and all that stuff and talked about how bad the initiative would be. Well, the water adequacy part was never addressed by the sustainability board. So, we have a sustainability board. The city of Bozeman has a sustainability team, a whole team
Yeah.
of people. And they never addressed, they never looked at, they were never asked about this water adequacy ballot initiative. And so the city has told the public for 10 years, 15 years, we're in a drought. We got to save our water. We got to protect our water. Water your lawn less. We
Right.
save our water. And so we're saving our water to build more unnecessary luxury housing. It just doesn't make sense. And so I think that when the city decided it didn't like this ballot initiative that was going to provide affordable housing and protect our water supply, and they didn't ask the sustainability team what they thought of it, you
Wow.
lose some credibility with voters.
Yeah. And good segue to my next question. How would you improve transparency at City Hall, which I think is a major problem at the moment?
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. I believe in 100% transparency all the time. Um, and I think that in many ways, my track record speaks to that directly. I'm so committed to our town. The voters passed a ballot initiative to eliminate single use plastic bags by 63%. That's an enormous margin. And so I was the attorney that helped draft that initiative with Bozeman residents. We got 75 volunteers go collect signatures. We got 24% of registered voter signatures in 90 days. So it just goes to I'm present for the voters. I'm trying to be as transparent as I possibly can with what we're doing. We've been very open and honest about how we operate.
Okay. So do you think that the city is doing enough to support the police and fire services?
No, no, I do not. We can do a much better job of ensuring these folks have housing. Again, I don't know that we're providing housing for the firefighters or the police officers. I've heard people having to commute very far to get to Bozeman to their job. And
Yeah.
again, not everybody who's a police officer wants to live in Bozeman. Um, but if you do want to live in the town where you work, I think you should be able to. And to the extent that firefighters and police officers can't because they can't afford it, that just it seems wrong. And not just those folks, but I think we also need to, the city needs to do a better job of ensuring a livable wage for groups that we have contracts with, like
Mhm.
AMR, American Medical Response. The city has a contract with those folks to provide emergency medical services. And so if we're not paying those people enough, if those people aren't getting health care, if they're not getting the benefits they need, the city needs to revisit its contract with those folks and then talk about either having our own ambulance team or, doing something a little bit different. Because again, just because you're not a city employee doesn't mean that we have the right to kind of take advantage of you. We need to make
Mhm.
sure that everybody who's doing work for the city is taken care of.
So this topic is kind of, well, it's not kind of, it's very controversial, but how do you feel about the increase of the illegal alien population in the city of Bozeman? And, well, we'll keep it to the city.
Yeah. That is a
And, well, my,
very,
my question is,
yeah.
how should the city be involved? Where's my question here? What role, if any, should the city play in response to that?
You know, todos somos inmigrantes, ¿no? We're all immigrants.
Habla
And,
español también. Un
vale, vale.
poquito, un poquito.
Okay. Es que tenemos que proteger a la gente que vive aquí, que trabaja aquí. We need to protect the people who work here. I mean, our economy is based on a lot of immigrants. And so I think that we have a duty to protect those folks. I don't think that we should be building alligator Alcatrazes in Gallatin County. It seems like, these people work hard. They're doing the job that a lot of white breads don't want to do. And so we need to ensure if we want to have an economy in Southwest Montana, the basis of that is immigrant labor. And we need to protect those folks and ensure that they are okay.
Okay, so this next question, and we're almost to the end. Another hot topic in the last month. What's your view on the city commission's recent decision to adopt the pride flag as an official city flag? Do you support this or not, and why?
That feels like some culture war stuff
Yeah.
that is irrelevant to the potholes that need to be fixed. Um, I have twin boys who are 5, and Montana is one of the very few states in the country that doesn't offer universal pre-K. And so I would
Wow.
love to spend some time getting pre-K available to Bozeman residents because it's important that we get our youngest citizens educated. There's no reason why we can't do it in Bozeman. So these are the topics I want to talk about. I mean, a flag is not going to get my kids educated. A flag is not going to provide affordable health care to people. I mean, I want everyone to feel comfortable, and I also understand that I don't want to spend a bunch of time on culture war stuff when we have things that we can actually impact and have meaningful say in.
Absolutely, 100%. So why should the Bozeman residents vote for you for mayor?
Bozeman residents should vote for me, John Meyer, for mayor, because I've been here for about 16 years. I'm totally committed. I'm a hard worker. I'm an attorney in town. I'm from a blue collar family. I believe in our town. We have some of the smartest people in the world here, and I would really love to see Bozeman become a template for a model community. We're already doing some great things, but we can do things that are even better. And so I'd really appreciate your vote this November.
Great. And how can everybody find you? What are you doing for outreach? Do you have a website, socials? How can
Yep.
everybody find you?
Yeah, we have a website. It's Meyer, Meyer for mayor.com. And you can get on our social off of our website.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure meeting you. We wish you all the best in your campaign, and it'll be really interesting to see what happens in November. I think everybody can agree. We just want to see the city thrive and do well long term. So thank you again. And if there's
Mm.
anything you want to share with us, we're happy to update our website to include this. This will all be live once we're done with the interviews, which should be today, I believe, and then they'll go up on our website. So thank you again. Really appreciate it.
When do you guys endorse me?
We don't endorse candidates. We're just
Oh,
interviewing.
okay.
I'm just
Okay.
asking the questions, and
Okay.
everybody was asked the same questions. So
Awesome.
we're just trying to get people locally involved. It's so important, and I think people are waking up and getting interested. And maybe they don't all agree, but hey, public participation
Yep.
from all sides. Let's go for it and see if we can't find
Yep.
some common ground. I think that's the goal.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you,
Have a
John.
good day.
Appreciate
Okay.
you.
Bye.
Bye.